Is the latest Conjuring film as good as the first two? Find out in our latest movie review.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to our channel. I'm Michelle.
And I'm Ken, and we're here today to review the latest Conjureverse film, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. The latest movie in theaters and on HBOMax, and
right.
Thank God it was on HBOMax. It
Yes.
was just so nice to get to come home from work and actually get to sit down on the couch
Right.
and watch this movie.
Yeah, it helps because we have kids and sometimes we can't get a babysitter. So those streaming movies are always a plus.
Yeah, and The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. I still don't understand. I don't like the subtitles that they do, the subtext, rather.
Yeah.
I wish they would just call it Conjuring 3, but...
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I guess they were trying to stand out.
But before we get into our thoughts on this movie, I want to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber of Married with Media, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We do all kinds of content on this channel, mostly centered around streaming, movies, television,
Right.
reviews. So yeah, we're going to be doing tons of upcoming TV reviews on this channel. So definitely hit the subscribe button. And also...
Please do.
Press the like button and comment down below. Please, guys, comment down below your thoughts on The Conjuring Part 3, The Devil Made Me Do It, in the comment section below, and let us know what you thought about it.
Yes.
This movie was directed by Michael Chavez, who you probably don't know. The only other movie that I think he directed was The Curse of La Llorona, which
Okay.
you didn't see as well. I remember
No.
I saw that in theaters. And Michael Chavez directed this one, and this is notable because this is the first Conjuring movie in the mainline Conjuring films, not the spinoffs, that wasn't directed by James Wan.
Okay. And do you know why that was?
I just assume because James Wan's kind of moved on to, I guess, what you would call bigger and better things. He directed
Okay.
Aquaman a couple years ago. He's kind of moved on to more blockbusters, even though he is coming out with a horror film on HBO Max later this year called Malignant. So I guess he does this a lot. He starts franchises. And then he kind of passes the reins to somebody else. Like, he was the director of the first Saw movie. He was the director of the first two Insidious films.
Oh, okay.
The first two Conjuring films. So he's kind of a franchise starter, and then he kind of moves on. So
Interesting. You would think you'd want to see it to completion.
yeah, and
but...
I don't have an issue with him moving on Saw and Insidious,
Right.
but with this particular, I just
Right.
really wish he would have come back to close out this trilogy.
Yeah.
Because I know that you said that you thought it was okay, but I really felt his absence in this movie.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, if you just want to talk a little bit about how, going into this, you were, a big fan.
Yeah, I think for you've seen the first two Conjurings, right? I know you've seen the first two Conjurings. Outside of that, I don't know what other ones you've seen other than maybe the first Annabelle. I think we might have watched that one together.
Right. I mean, that kind of sums up how I feel about, these movies.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm kind of indifferent to them, and I am not sure which ones I've seen because I don't remember them.
Because
they all kind of feel the same, yeah. So, like I said, I know that you were a big fan of the first two Conjuring, and I was just kind of indifferent. I would watch them because you wanted to. And that's kind of how I felt about this one. I thought it was fine, but, obviously my expectations were not set super high because, I wasn't a huge fan like you were, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think those first two Conjuring movies are they're most certainly two of the greatest horror movies of the whole 21st century to me.
Wow.
I think that they're classics. I think they're going to hold up, stand the test of time. A lot of people will point to The Conjuring as being the best, and I wouldn't argue with you. I love both of the first two films, but I think the second one is probably my favorite.
Gotcha.
But to be honest, any day of the week I could change my mind. Both of those movies I love so much, and I just remember us being in the theater watching The Conjuring 2, and both of those movies really, but that movie just in particular just really got under my skin and creeped me out, and I love horror when it actually does what it's supposed to do and scares me. The first one is definitely more focused and it's more contained to that one house setting. And yeah, it's just a more focused story. And I think it's a little bit creepier, but I love the second one because it's like a big time, big budget, amusement park horror ride the way it just takes you through all of these events. And it's scary as hell. Like, I don't think that it really loses its focus either until you get to maybe like the last 20 minutes. But I really love both of those films. Let's get on to The Conjuring 3. So you said that you kind of liked it. What would you say are your positives? So I want to start this off in a positive way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I thought, the acting was pretty good. There were some like cringier parts, but I don't know. I felt like I don't think you did, but I enjoyed the boy that like was the main one that got possessed.
Yeah,
I enjoyed him and like his girlfriend. I thought they were fine. The main two,
Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson.
Yeah. I feel like because they were playing like older versions of themselves, I feel like they were kind of a little lame, if you will.
Yeah.
Like you could definitely tell that they were, they had aged them because more time had passed since the last one. And I just felt like I don't know.
They definitely made huge strides to make Vera Farmiga look like the current
right, and not him so much, but I just felt like, I don't know, I felt like there was like some like energy missing or something.
I'd say my big positive this movie, if I want to give a positive, is I think that the performances are good.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson, I think, deliver good, competent performances. I think they bring a certain level of prestige to these movies because they are capable actors. I didn't really enjoy many of the other performances outside of those two.
See, I just felt like they were like their like lines were just kind of like corny, and their acting was just
they've always been though a little bit in these movies because that's kind of on brand for them.
Mm-hmm.
Where I think this movie kind of goes off the rails for me is the first two are very much about the families that are being possessed, that are having the problems with the demonic forces, the ghosts, whatever.
Right.
And they actually give you time to spend with those families, like in the first 30 to 45 minutes. So you do feel invested and you do care about everybody in those movies. And then they bring the Warrens in. They're still like the main characters of the movie, but it's much more about the family. It's about them coming in to help.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where these movies truly shine. And this one, the Warrens are more front and center. It more feels like their story, even though you have this other family story that's happening alongside of it. But
right.
It just feels much more about them than the family, and that's what I don't like about it. It opens up with that scene, which you said you liked. You said you liked the opening scene.
I already forget it.
So it's the scene where the boy is possessed.
Oh, yeah,
the little boy is possessed, and
yeah.
they bring him out to the table, and he's doing the exorcist thing on the table. He's contorting and everything else.
Yeah.
Drawing clear inspiration from The Exorcist. You even have the priest coming up with the shot.
Yeah, I thought that was...
which I loved it in the trailer because you even commented on that, how I said I liked it. But when I saw it in context of the movie, I'm like, oh, come on. And I know a lot of people are pointing to this one scene and they're saying that, it's a great opening scene. I don't feel that way at all. In fact, as soon as I saw the scene, as soon as it completed, I was like, no, I know exactly what I'm in for with this movie. And I just instantly didn't like it anymore. I don't know. Wow. It was just something about that opening scene.
Really?
It seemed way overproduced. It seemed way rushed. There was no tension. There was no scare factor. And that goes into the entire rest of the movie. Like, I wasn't scared or tense or had any level of suspense throughout the entire film.
Well, yeah, I don't know. See, I felt differently. There were parts that, like, I thought it was creepy.
I liked the way that they, one good thing I'll say another positive. I liked how they showed, like, from their perspective, what it was like to be possessed. I thought that was kind of interesting. But they didn't really go all the way with it.
Yeah. And I mean, that one part where the little boy had gone up into the bathroom. He was in the shower.
Yeah, that visually that looked really, really cool.
I don't know. It freaked me out when he came out of there. He looked like a little creepy, like Pet Cemetery kid. I got like the Pet Cemetery little boy.
Yeah, but it was, I don't know. It was such like over CGI'd and overproduced, and it was just so over dramatized. They're sitting there at the kitchen table, and it's like it's like a tornado in the kitchen. And like I said, the first two are so good because they start off small and they build slowly all the way throughout, and they build effective scares leading up to the finale, because the first one has a big finale as well, with the mom that's possessed and they have to take her into the basement and have to exorcise her down there. And she's like turning into a demon, and it's this big dramatic sequence, but it's all at the end. Yeah, I think for me, the biggest crime of this movie, if you want to call it that, is it felt like a spin-off movie. So it felt like The Nun to me. I felt the same way when I watched Annabelle Comes Home. Not Annabelle Creation, I think that one's actually pretty good, but the first Annabelle, Curse of La Llorona, it just felt like all of those spin-off movies, and it didn't feel like a mainline Conjuring film. So it just didn't live up to that standard.
Gotcha. Well, you know, it kind of makes you think, like, do they need to keep making these movies, or should they just leave it where it is? You know, like, it's hard. Like, if you're gonna make a like a franchise or whatever, it's hard to have them all be amazing. There's always going to be one that's not as good, one or two, I don't, you know.
Yeah.
So
oh, you're definitely right about that. I personally would prefer if they just stopped, but they're not going to, because these things make money. So they'll do a Nun 2, they'll probably do another Annabelle movie, they'll do a Fat Man spinoff. The guy that
I know you kept saying that. I don't know about that, but
they'll do whatever that woman was. She'll probably come back from the grave. The main antagonist of this movie.
Yeah.
They'll do a spinoff of her. They'll do another La Llorona. They'll keep it going. I think this is the end for the Conjuring proper film.
Yeah, I felt like they wrapped it up pretty good.
I feel like this is the end for Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson's characters, which
I would agree with that.
Kind of makes me a little sad, because I didn't feel like it was the best ending for them. But
that happens sometimes.
At the end of the day, I still got the first two movies. This didn't ruin the first two movies for me. I can still go back and watch those first two, and I'm going to enjoy them and still think they're masterpieces. So whether or not they continue this franchise or not, it doesn't matter. I'll probably watch them. I'll probably enjoy them all in the same way. Not very much at all. And that'll be the end of it. Hopefully they make another good one, but I don't know.
Yeah. So what would you rate this out of 5 stars?
I mean, I feel like I've been going hard on this movie. I don't think it's terrible. I don't think it's a terrible movie. It's just completely lackluster and underwhelming in like every possible way. I'll give it a 2.5 out of a 5.
Wow, okay.
I give it a 2.5 out of a 5, which is probably the lowest score I've ever given on this channel.
I don't know. I'd probably give it a 3. I don't know. Maybe a 3.5. But yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was terrible, and it wasn't too long, which is always a plus for me.
I think
it was like
the
an
shortest.
hour 40.
I think it was the shortest of the 3.
Or maybe it was like an hour 50.
It was an hour and 50.
Okay, yeah. Which, you know, anything under 2 is pretty good for me. So,
yeah.
But yeah, would I watch it again? Probably not.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I'll never watch this movie again. I don't feel like.
Yeah,
I just have no reason to.
But it was fun enough, so.
That's our thoughts on The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It. Yeah, leave your thoughts on The Conjuring down in the comment section below. Do you agree with us?
Did you hate it as much as Ken?
Do you love the first 2 Conjuring movies like I do, and you're just severely disappointed? Let us know in that comment section below, and also be sure to like this video or dislike this video, whatever. Give us some kind of engagement though, we'll appreciate it, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and we will see you guys later.
Bye.